multi-twitch go. There it went.
All right, welcome to the next and last round of the first round of, I guess we're calling it the quarterfinals at this point, for the Earthbound Super Series Ancient Cave, the first round here. I'm Arafram, and with me I've got... Raikou Rider here with me.
Good evening, everyone. I am Raikou Rider, and I will be assisting Airfram in this 1 versus 8 match. Even though this is a 1 versus 8 match, this randomizer is known for doing very, very cruel things to runners, especially in some of the other quarterfinal races, where one runner can have a seemingly insurmountable lead, and it can all be wiped out to Gygus if one person goes in not prepared enough or takes a bad death.
All right. Well,
So from what I've seen of these two runners, Ori is known for taking some pretty crazy risks to get fast finishing times. Leslie has a tendency to, if he finds Gygus, he will mark his place with an exit mouse and then go looking for equipment if he feels underprepared for the fight. And we are underway.
It'll be interesting to see how much time these runners spend on the first floors just digging through for items here, or whether they're just going to blow past, because the lower the floor, the lower significance the item has.
That is correct. There will be 9 floors in the Ancient Cave, and the loot gets better the deeper you go, but the enemies also get more dangerous. So one thing you might see these runners do is if they find a scripted encounter. There are a couple of scripted encounters you can run into on the early floors. You might see the runners use Jeff starting Big Bottle Rocket on it to gain a large number of levels. But I believe those do not show up on the first floor. There's 1 or 2 exceptions, but the first floor cannot force you to go through a scripted encounter, if I remember how this randomizer works. So the big thing you'll be seeing two runners looking for is skip granting items. Any item that requires an NPC to pass, or any NPC that requires an item to pass, rather, that will take you to a different floor. So, for instance, if you need to use the pencil eraser to pass through one of the 3 pencil statuettes in the game, that will take you to a different floor than you're on, and that's a Casey bat. The Casey bat is one of the more powerful items that can show up on the first floor. The primary reason why you would use it is if you have a high enough of a speed to take out specific enemies, that you would be able to get through them without actually going into the battle scene. The way the game calculates whether to give you an instant win is it takes your average speed and your average attack power and compares it to the enemy's defense power, as well as their speed. If you get a preemptive, which would be a green swirl, then the speed calculation is not taken into account, and we have a double beam on Ori's side. And then Les will pick up that KC bat as well. Now, one thing I've noticed about Les's playstyle is he tends to not make use of the KC bat. So both of our runners primarily searching for the boss of the first floor, because from what we've seen so far, the first floor has not been very generous with terms of skip granting items. And the experience on the first floor tends to become very, very poor once you get to about level 6 or 7. Now, these large groups of protoplasms that you're seeing on Ori's side are some of the more dangerous enemies on the first floor. But with Jeff's double beam, as well as the KC bat, they shouldn't be too much difficulty. Now, the KC bat has the highest raw damage output out of all of Ness's weapons, but it has a base accuracy of 25%. However, accuracy is not considered when determining the chances for instant wins. And so we have not seen any skip opportunities even so far, or any bosses. So it seems like this first floor may be rather empty. And it does look like Ori has found the way to the first boss. We'll be able to use Paula's area magic to take out as many of these Antoids as possible. The large groups of Antoids are other dangerous enemies that you might see on the first floor. We have not found a Hitman yet, so we have no idea what bosses we're going to be running into.
Sorry about that, I'm back now. I think we got everything balanced out, so if there's any more problems, please feel free to ping me in the chat.
And we have a vanilla first boss. This is actually one of the tougher first bosses that you can get, but with access to double freeze as well as that teddy bear, it should not be too big a deal, and Leslie is right behind, coming up to that first floor. It looks like we had just about a full clear of the first floor looking for Titanic Ant.
So, are we playing Earthbound or are we playing Ancient Cave here right now?
Oh, that's right! That's right, that was the vanilla first Sanctuary, too. Chaz? I thought we were playing Randomizer here.
Here we got the Foresight, the department store arms dealer, and anything interesting? Doesn't seem like too much. Trying to look quickly here as Ari blasts through the menus.
Ori's just going to try to take this opportunity to clean up his menu a little bit. But nothing doing as far as the item shop. It's a little bit too early to be buying things because the items in the shops don't care about what floor you're on. However, it is balanced out by your lack of money early in the game. And this is one of those scripted encounters we were talking about that Ori is running into, the Sentry robot. So we might see, and it does look like we are going to see, the big bottle rocket use here. This is going to get roughly, looks like about 1,500 experience per character, which is going to make Ori set on levels and for probably a couple of floors or the next time we see a skip.
I will say that's one of my favorite scripted encounters to encounter. Double encounter there, because of the amount of experience you get. It's a great way to get your characters up and fast in the early floors.
Oh, absolutely. And it's one of those that's very beatable with just psychic powers. In the event that you get something like Starman Jr. or some other nasty first boss that you're forced to use your bottle rocket on. The free shop has its most expensive item being a Viper, which is not great. So I don't think we're going to be seeing a ton of money laundering from either one of our runners.
I think Ari's okay having a reptile in his inventory and dealing with it.
And they still sell for $275 a piece, which is going to be good enough to get a few rockets if we run into one. Not too many bombs though.
The jackpot would be if the free shop had multi-battle rockets, but you always keep hoping.
I'm still a big fan of things such as Holy Fry Pan, Coin of Silence, just any high dollar item in the free shop.
A gutsy bat.
I believe the items in the shop item can never be a gutsy bat in the shops, because it does all of the items in the shops are pulled from the vanilla shop pool.
I'm just being hopeful in what Chaz in the chat there. I'm hoping maybe he'll put it in there, but can only hope.
But I do believe that's how the shops work. Is anything that's not purchasable in the vanilla game, you will not find in any of the shops.
So on Ari's side here, he's going across, looks like some long paths here. The Forsyth Bridge there is a long scene. The running does help take it down, but you have to make some choices here of whether or not you're going to dive down. A backstage pass, which could potentially open up a skip, depending on what's going on here.
And we do indeed have a backstage pass. Meanwhile, Les finding the bad news that the free shop is not particularly valuable. We'll see how many Vipers that he decides to pick up for money, and may pick up a couple of other items as well, such as the... looks like a fresh egg was picked up as well, which that is one of the skip items. But a fresh egg can only be in your inventory for 1 in-game minute before it turns into a chick. Which is why you very rarely get to see the fresh egg skip used. And we're going to see Ori try to stutter around this hieroglyph. This hieroglyph, if Ori can beat it, will garner a lot of experience. But this thing is capable of using thunder attacks, which will kill one kid at this point. They do lots and lots of damage, but this is also worth a ton of experience if you can get it there. And it does look like Ori gets there, will earn about 4,500 experience a kid, which is going to give him another significant level boost.
And at this point, he's going to be pretty good to deal with most of the mid-game enemies at this point, and to start making his way towards endgame if he starts skipping around.
At this point, Ori is looking for a skip to the upper floors. Now, any skip that you find can only take you between 2 and 5 floors forward. And we do have a mostly vanilla ritzy shop, mostly vanilla ritzy Summers shop.
That's too many vanillas we've said in the last 13 minutes here.
I'm seeing some bats on Les's side. Are those those are just Lilliput enemies, so it does look like both of our runners still on floor 2 at the moment.
Claiming a supreme item, the Suproma, a fantastic item which sings a fantastic song you only need to hear once. Got a holy fry pan in the shop here.
Nowhere close to enough money, though. But more importantly, we do see burgers at that shop, which have multiple skips associated with them. I want to say there are two, possibly 3 skips associated with it.
Yeah, 2 or 3. 3 burger skips is what I'm seeing. That's right, because there's the one room with the 2 burger skips, and then a separate one with 1.
Right, the King Banana room. But unless we see a skip soon. Unless we see a skip soon, we might be in for a bit of a longer seed. Now, those skips do have to be out there somewhere in the Ancient Cave, but typically you would see one of them by now. Not in this case.
Well, I'm not too concerned at this point. If we get to floor 4 or 5 without seeing a skip at that point, if the runners have managed to bypass them, then I start getting concerned. Because at that point, your skips to floor 8 and floor 9 are going to be impacted.
And we do have a defense shower on Leslie's side. Unfortunately, not as useful as you would think until you get to the end. You usually see a lot of the specialty Jeff items get dropped.
So we found the end of floor 2 here. Interested to see what the boss is going to be here in place of Electrospectre.
Of note, we also have found almost no defensive equipment. Both of our runners actually up to the floor 2 boss at roughly the same time, so this race is staying incredibly close. Very nice. Very nice preemptive by Leslie there. Car Painter on 2.
That's pretty close to vanilla there.
Little bit. This seed really is not messing around with the bosses either. And I wonder if Ori has to be at all worried about going to the 3rd floor and still not having found any skip opportunity at all.
To be honest, I don't think he worries too much. I think he kind of more goes with the flow there. If he starts going another floor, then I think he might start becoming worried.
And there's our first skip opportunities, but no pizza. Leslie wrapping up floor 2, and we'll be headed on to floor 3. So it'll be the first big breakthrough that one of these runners finds that is going to determine who gets the first really big lead.
Updating the tracker here. Keep me on track here, Raikou, if I forget to update the floors. Same with you, chat. Keep on top of me. Don't let me slip up.
And we do find on floor 3 that the post minibar vendor has bottles of deluxe water, which are very, very useful towards the end of the game, especially if an auto Star Master is located. And this is the Casey Bat in action, because those the cultists on this floor, because they are part of the cabin encounter in the vanilla game, they are flagged as unrunnable. But if you get a preemptive on them and you're powerful enough to defeat them, that's the only way to take care of them really efficiently. Even if you get a preemptive, they're still unrunnable. That defense spray isn't too bad, considering we haven't found an ATM yet. The defense the defense spray is not valuable as a battle item. It is valuable for selling because you can get $250 out of it.
It's interesting right now because we got a lot of long one-way strips going in here, room after room, with not very much diverging paths here. The one thing I honestly don't remember at this point, is the waterfall a valid entrance in Grapefruit Falls, or is that
I don't remember. I'm a little bit newer to this randomizer, so I'm not as familiar with all of its nuances.
We got the chat helping out there. Waterfall is not a door, so we've got 3 long one-to-one doors here. Just corridors.
Very, very linear. Very, very linear seed so far. I am a little bit surprised that we haven't seen any exit mouse marking in any of these hubs yet. Because if you go a long ways down a very linear path that leads to a dead end, you can spend a lot of time walking back to your main hub. And that's something that enough runners don't keep in mind.
Well, I think the only thing working there...
Oh, would you look at this?
Ooh,
would you look at this? This is interesting. Ori is going into the red tunnel to look for skip items, presumably. We are also on floor 3, so this is typically where Franklin badges can start showing up. So it's very interesting. I usually don't see runners go up here.
It all depends on if they're desperate for items or not in the later floors, is usually when I start seeing them dive into the red part. Those 2 items right there are very easy. I don't blame them for bailing out after those 2, because the other 2, there's a lot of time investment and facing enemies. And the corridors are helping them at this point because the exit mouse is only going to take them back to the beginning of the floor at this point.
Seed continues to remain fairly linear.
Is Leslie starting to move backwards back to Grapefruit Falls here? Yeah, Leslie is moving backwards. Was there a divergent path the very first room that I missed?
I don't believe so. There may have been. There may have been, but it could also just be... It's very easy to get lost in Ancient Cave if you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
And that's the number one... That's the number one... Oh, big league bat for Ness on Ori's side. That's big. That's a stout weapon for floor 3.
I saw what you did there. Big.
It could also be, did Les find that pizza? Because
Les
there's a
did
case...
not. I don't think he went far enough to get the pizza unless there's a different one.
Because if you find a pizza skip on floor 2, and then you suddenly find a pizza on floor 3, do you go back to floor 2 to try that skip?
Depends on how far back that is and whether or not you have to walk through terrible water.
It's a play. And it could be a play that Les might make if he feels that he is an underdog in this race. One of the skills you have to be good at for tournament play in randomizer is knowing how to play from behind. Where if you feel like you have no way to beat your opponent in a straight competition, instead of taking the metagame most efficient path through a seed, the best play for someone who is not favored to win is to take the second best path. Because if both players take the best path, then the more skilled player will win. So you want to be able to give yourself... Oh, and it does look like Ori is taking the skip that we had speculated upon earlier. And we'll see what floor they wind up in. There's an Earth pendant, so I would wager that we're on at least floor 6.
We're gonna have to see if once Leslie finds a pizza, if Leslie's gonna make the same dive back as well.
That moonbeam gun suggests that we might be even as far as 7. From what I can see, Ori thinks he's on 7. But I would wager either 6 or 7, and the Deep Darkness enemies suggest that it's 7. Deep Darkness enemies, Pink Cloud enemies, this is definitely 7. So that's a big skip ahead. And floor 7 is where the loot starts to get really good. On floor 7, you can start running into good pendants.
Alright, I'll bump the floor counter up here to 7, and we can adjust it if it's otherwise, just based on our intelligent guesses here. Unless Chaz wants to pop me a quick spoiler here, and we can be confident for sure.
It cannot be floor 8 because a skip can only jump you at most 5 floors. So the latest floor that you can jump from floor 2 is floor 7. And you're seeing with the lower levels that Ori has, the encounters on these higher floors are very dangerous. If you can get through one of them, then you're usually pretty set for taking care of the rest of them, but it's just the hurdle of getting over that first encounter that you're drastically underleveled for.
We've got the cabin in the woods here. Unfortunately, it doesn't necessarily lead to Paula, which would be a guaranteed Franklin badge.
And meanwhile, we do have Leslie unleashing some cuckoos.
It is now humane. And Leslie's going to choose to dive forward into the floor instead of going back and taking that pizza shortcut, which we know Ori took, which was a big skip.
And Ori just found the end of floor 6. But as far as this play digging through Mole Cave, from Les's perspective, I am a big fan of this play for the reasons that I mentioned before. And I also do like fighting these moles here because the moles are worth a lot of experience, and they go down pretty quickly to 2 freezes.
Yeah, you always know how to deal with them, so you know where your HP stands, you know how fast you can deal with them. They're just like any other scripted encounter, something you can pretty solidly deal with.
There's almost no reason not to fight these guys when you run into them, unless if you encounter them early, you're looking for the experience, and if you encounter them late, you're looking for the gear. And speaking of gear, there was a Mr. Saturn coin behind that mole, which is a fantastic find for where Leslie is. It's one of the most powerful miscellaneous defensive equipments that is available on that floor.
Ari
And
found
we
some
have big bottle rockets. That will do for pretty much every boss fight for the rest of the game that's not Gygas. Leslie finding the Earth Pendant shop. A little early for it, though. Although, more importantly, this is the first well, not just the magic puddings, but that this is a saleable vendor. This is the first saleable vendor that Leslie has found since running into the free shop. And that can be an issue. That can be an issue when you're finding. That can be an issue when you run into a lot of money or a lot of good items, and you just hit not saleable vendors.
You're forced to carry it for a long time. I mean, fortunately, it's not something that'll liquidate once you die, but you're running out of inventory space really fast if you find something you want to equip or hold on to.
And you're also losing time to that added inventory space because the menu's loading time is based on the number of items that are in the character's inventory. So every time you need to do inventory management, the more items you're carrying, the longer it takes to go through the menus.
Ari looks like he's looking for some pre-experience here to level up and catch up to the floor that he's on to have an easier time dealing with any other enemies.
That's what you have to look for when you're on these upper floors and you're only in the level teens, is you need to try to get single enemies that you can stun lock with freezes, take out quickly with explosives, or whatever means of single targeted high yield DPS that you have. And another thing about taking skips is it's very easy to get disoriented after taking one, because it throws you in the middle of the floor, so you never know whether you're going forwards or backwards.
That or you end up in a loop that throws you forward and backwards at the same time, with the new addition of loops in this year.
And we haven't really seen too many of those yet. And there have been some... I've seen some pretty diabolical loops in the qualifying round. Some terrible loops, giant floor 9s. And speaking of giant areas, we have not seen any of the giant areas yet, have we?
The largest one here is the Mole Cave, and that's just because it's time intensive to walk through and get every gift. Leslie's sinking a lot of time into Mole Cave here. Ooh, we got our first Sanctuary, though.
Leslie is sinking a lot of time into Mole Cave, yes, but you also have to remember that if you feel like you are an underdog in your match, and you follow the quote unquote best path, you're not winning anyway. So I think clearing out this Mole Cave and trying to find a skip item that Ori is unlikely to find is absolutely the play from this perspective.
That is 8 for Ari.
That's 8? Wow. That pizza skip might have been on floor 3 after all. This could be over in a hurry.
We're sure that pizza skip came from 2, right?
It might have been from 3.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and double check the video after this. I thought it was a floor down.
I thought it was too. It had to have been 3. And we do have Ori on floor 9, just past the half-hour mark. That's always got to feel good.
Now, just to make everyone feel better, looking at Ori's stream here, he also thought it was floor 7 as well, so we were all on the same page up until we talked to Thunder and Storm.
Oh, and speaking of other gifts, Psy Shield Sigma on Paula at 26. That's very early.
Have we noticed who our prayer person is this time around?
Not quite. I haven't picked up on it. One of the dangers of skipping this many floors ahead is there might be a situation where you get to Gygus and don't have revival. Because we haven't seen any secret vendors or Horn of Life vendors, have we?
Not that I've noticed on either player yet. Ori hasn't really had many shops to go to other than basic goods and the one big bottle rocket vendor there. Leslie might have a better chance of coming across something just progressing forward there. And it could create a choke point for Ori if the HP is high on Gygus on any of the phases.
Especially the first phase. The Poke phase HP, if that rolls high, can be very, very bad for parties like this.
Yeah, let's take a notice of what Paula's PP is at. 38 is right now. I know Paula's been using stuff, but that doesn't seem very promising at this moment. Because then you're going to be careful strategizing.
Ori forgetting that the Baddest Beam is not as powerful as the Moonbeam Gun. Easy mistake to make, because you never see the Baddest Beam in the vanilla speedrun. In the vanilla game, the Baddest Beam is one of the weapons that Jeff needs to fix from a broken item.
I mean, that's understandable, considering in the vanilla game you're only using Jeff as a bottle rocket slave. I do have to say, I am enjoying the Floor 9 music here, the calm before the storm.
It looks like for most of our characters, we have pretty generous HP, especially for Paula. So Paula will have no difficulty surviving Rockins in time to get a shield up. Some of the other party members might.
Yeah.
But the Paula HP is pretty high.
Looking at the psychic points, though, I'm concerned. We'll have to see if the heal brings it to, because I haven't noticed the max. It might be... Ooh, a sea pendant. That's always good to find on your way to Gygus. That'll protect your prayer person. But back to what I was saying, you're going to be looking basically at Paula throwing out the shield and then using the PSI magnet just to get it back. Either that, you're going gung-ho and hoping Pokey goes down in like 2 or 3 rounds real fast.
And now some of the bigger areas, such as Foresight, are starting to show up. So if this 9 winds up being very big, then it could still be anyone's race, but Leslie needs to find a way to floor 9 and fast.
Ori having no reason to go
see would you look at that? Would you look at that? It's not a saleable vendor, and there's a Horde of Life vendor, but with no money and no ATM anywhere close by, just out of luck.
Ooh,
and this is what I was talking about. We have big floor 9.
The enemies don't look too serious in this portion quite yet. There's some diamonds there which start getting scary, but here we just got orbs and spears. So that other door might be some tougher enemies that you need to keep an eye on.
The Starman Basin and the Lumine Hall enemies are generally what you're looking for, but when you see diamonds, diamonds can be K to the past enemies, which are dangerous no matter what your level is. You can be level 99 and they can be dangerous.
They just want a hug. They've been stuck in there so long.
And we have a Flash Beta sniping Jeff on Ori's side. And remember, Ori skipped to floor 9 and does not have access to any revives yet, so before reaching Gygus... oh, there's a hospital. Very convenient hospital. But having access to no revives during the Gygus fight has claimed the life of many a runner in this tournament. And there's a Gaia Beam find for Ori. That is Jeff's best in slot weapon. That'll be nice for handling the regular encounters. And meanwhile, Leslie is having Ness unleash the goose on this mini barf with some PSI honk. So far, Les has been Les has been doing a good job of exploring, just has not found the skips. And given how many large areas we've seen on 9, it could just be possible that the reason why there aren't very many skips early on is because they could all just get shuffled here. And meanwhile, it does look like Leslie has found the boss of that floor. Should be moving on to the next one. So Leslie currently on the 4th floor. And this pace would not be unreasonable if this were a no-skips race, but today we be skipping. We have Dalam on floor 9 as well. And Leslie sees the worst room in the game, and well, second worst room in the game. It's the worst room in the game in vanilla, but the worst room in the game in randomizer is something that we have not run into yet. That being the Underworld Slog. And I have seen runners who are desperate for endgame defense go through that on level 9. And it does look like we have plenty of pendants on Ori's side, so defensively ready for Gygas.
Yeah, Ari looks pretty set here, other than just having the most ideal situation. But in randomizer, he seems pretty set to go if he finds Gygas.
Oh, absolutely. The only thing that might be an issue is damage if Gygas rolls really high, because we have not seen any Auto Star Masters. Ori doing a lot of searching, though. This could be a case of just the O-net to nowhere.
Oh, that would be terrible. Or that, or a door in there leads to a long loop that leads back on itself and wastes even more time.
As I'm sure we've all dealt with the 3 to nowhere.
Leslie finding a Crusher Beam over there. That's a pretty good upgrade for the toy air gun over there. So Jeff's going to be putting out some extra damage now on Leslie's side.
Leslie finding a skip opportunity, but without a carrot key, will not be able to take it. And Paula over 300 HP. Other than Ness, we have pretty healthy party members, so like getting a shield up shouldn't be too troubling.
Paula's been working on her push-ups this time around, working on her constitution.
Little bit.
That pyramid there is a perfect example of a hole that's now being used as a door now compared to last season. It's something that if I ever return to actively playing Rando, I'm gonna have to remember myself. But still, it's fun to see everything included now.
Can we get some big shout outs to Chaz for all the work that's been done on the randomizer just within the last several months?
Shoutouts to Chaz.
These Scaraba vendors are just having nothing. The vendors in general in this seed have not been great. Just the one bottle rocket vendor.
Interesting to note that that monkey skip there was a ruler, which is a standard item Jeff has. So if Leslie comes to that door, Leslie would be able to catch up fairly quickly. You have to do a little diving for pendants, but it would not necessarily be over yet.
And Leslie is on floor 4, so it is very possible to find that skip.
Ari doing a quick double take there, saw the Horn of Life, was leaving it behind and like, wait, I want that.
Oh, absolutely. The Horn of Life is incredibly valuable. And speaking of incredible things, look at that stutter step around the slimy little pile there. Very nicely done.
I don't know about you, but I'd be pretty good at taking a slow step around a slimy pile. I wouldn't want to get my own shoes dirty.
Oh, no. And Leslie has found the 4th Sanctuary boss, in this case, the Abstract Art.
Oh no, most middle schoolers' nightmares. Art class with art history, not just fun art.
So Leslie moving on to floor number 5.
I wonder how much Leslie is worrying that he hasn't really taken a skip forward yet and has slowly been going forward.
There's only really been the one skip that's been available from what we've seen so far, and Ori's found it. And it was a tricky skip to locate, too. Ori picking up a bag of Dragonite. That can be very useful in the phase after Pokey, the Gygus 1 phase. Will deal roughly 300 or so damage. Because Gygus has very heavy resistance to all elements.
Ari's getting to the point that he has to check every door to make sure he doesn't miss a potential path forward. Now, you and I noticed that the burger shop there had diamonds afterwards, so that might be the route that he needs to take through a corridor where we can't really dodge those diamonds all too well.
Oh, this is a nice room for Ori to find.
Oh, this is like the heaven room on floor 9. Let's see if there's any fantastic items. Brain food lunch, diamond bands.
Large pizza! I would say large pizza's worth it.
You know, there were some decent healing items there. That is our hype room for the game and a good hype place. Leslie here taking a skip. Hamburgers. Nope. Does Leslie not have a hamburger?
No, Leslie has a hamburger, but just found that the skip leads backwards.
I'm currently restreaming Ari's audio, so I haven't heard what it is. Is it going backwards?
The enemies look weaker, so it's going backwards. Because Les is on floor 5 right now, and ran into some enemies we've already seen. So that was a skip that was backwards, unfortunately.
Oh geez, your stream must be going ahead then. Might be a little bit behind here on this restream here.
And Leslie might be yelling car right about now. Those mad taxis, man, they're so dangerous for the floor that they appear on.
Interesting that Ari has decided to go back to Force side. I don't know if he remembers that the burger shop had those diamond enemies in ooh, Star Pendant!
Star Pendant!
But the burger shop in going to, I think what was Giant Step had some diamond enemies in it.
Is that 3 good pendants for Ori?
A C pendant, a Star Pendant, and maybe one more that I might have missed.
I think it's double C pendants. I think it's double C pendant, Star Pendant. Because I could have sworn I saw Ori pick up another C pendant somewhere. So, Ori in really good shape. And the door is rapidly closing for Leslie. Still not over yet. Because damage could be an issue. I wonder if Ori might be trying to dig for a heavy bazooka.
I don't know. I've seen him go to Gygus with much less. I think he's ready to go with all those pendants. There it is. We'll find out. Or if he's going to try and find a save point first before going any further. Because I don't remember the last time any of these characters is saved. Or players, not characters. Oh, Ari, are you listening into us? Am I gonna have to issue a DQ as the tournament organizer here?
Oh, you know what I think Ori is looking for? I think Ori might be looking for a phone.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna want a phone at this point, as long as the Starstorm lets him through now.
Because these enemies are very, very fast. So even with Rabbit's Foot in vanilla game, these can be a pain to run from. And I want to say Ori has, for speed increasing items, just a great charm on Jeff.
Oh, he's gonna dive in right to it.
No save. He's going for it.
Does he still have his exit mouse? Let's see if he drops it. Ooh, Criminal Caterpillar or the upgraded version. Unfortunately, those might not always be worth the time of investing in, depending on their XP level. But with an auto win like that, never mind, it's worth it.
Well, that's to be expected, because he has, I think, 2 best-in-slot weapons. Well, second best with the Legendary Bat, and then the Gaia Beam for best-in-slot, so...
Yeah, no problem.
That's a given. And then the Magic Fry Pan, too, which a lot of people consider best-in-slot because of the high critical hit rate. So the drawback to the Magic Fry Pan is it has only a 75% accuracy rating, but it does increase guts by 100 points. So in addition to having the critical hit, you will have a lot more gut saves than normal on Paula with that Magic Fry Pan. And you cannot discount how important gut saves are.
No, that saves him many of a hide. Plus, the awesome HP values he's rocking right now is going to set him up for a pretty decent move through right now. That's just whether or not Phase 1 and Phase 2 has extended HP values or shortened HP values.
It's just all going to depend on that value. And Leslie finally finding an ATM probably got to be pretty frustrated.
Remember, if you want to help defeat Gigagas, send me your credit card. I accept it in DMs or to my personal email address. Don't forget your last 3 digits on it. Everyone's surviving. Oh, except Pooh, taking mortal damage.
By 1, but it should not be a big deal. With that much HP, should very easily be able to get it off. But the Psychic Point count on Paula could get... that could be a big issue.
Yeah, he's gonna have to start throwing off the shields and then getting the magnets all the time, just trying to get what he can.
I think that was a prey that Ori did there to save Boo.
Not to ignore Leslie over there. Leslie's starting to run into some difficult encounters. The double Mook encounter over there is a real annoying one with their psychic points.
Well, that, and you can run into them surprisingly early. I want to say the lesser Mooks are some of the most under-tiered enemies in the game.
I find them worse than the senior moves, just because of the extra moveset that they have.
I don't know, the Mook seniors have PK Fire, which that hits everybody. It doesn't do as much damage, but if you skip into them, they can really wreak havoc on your party.
Either way, it's not something you want to find.
Oh no, not at all.
So being in
Now,
phase 2 here, we're going to be looking for how much HP Gygus has. Normally it's 2,000 in vanilla, but we'll see how long this lasts.
Now, with Auri's party fully decked out in pendants, and Pooh having plenty of water in his inventory, I don't see this fight being too much of an issue. Yes, that's an Earth pendant and then 3 good pendants. Auri's set. So there was a lot of good defensive equipment on floor 9.
And of course, the 50% coverage being on a character who is not vital to this point, he's going to be really set. Help me figure out what floor Leslie is on at this point. I know most of our focus is on Auri being at Gygus right now. But
I want to say 6. Because these are Scaraba enemies, it's at least 6. It could be 7 also.
Fortunately, our player Jeff has lots of HP, just like everyone else, so Thunder isn't going to be a huge threat as long as there's a healer, just in case Jeff gets nailed twice in a row.
You still need to preemptively heal your prey. You still need to preemptively heal the prey user every turn, just in case of a double Thunder hit. But even a double Thunder hit is a damage range, because I believe the damage range on Thunder is 80 to 180. Wait, no, it's 60 to 180.
Is it me, or has Jeff been the prayer character a lot this tournament so far? Every time I've noticed, it always seems to have been Jeff.
In the bracket stage, yes. In qualifiers, there was a lot of vanilla. I noticed. Another thing I've been really impressed with from the runners in general is just the wide variety of ways that the Gygus fight has been approached.
I think that's one of the fantastic things about the randomizer, as in a vanilla speedrun, everyone tends to get so fixed in a particular pattern of dealing with the final boss with maybe 1 or 2 variations. In a randomizer like this, it really tests your knowledge and skill of the game and adapt into what you have and different ways to approach it, allowing you to be more creative.
Oh, absolutely. And one of the most creative things I've seen is brain shocking Gygus during Poke phase if you don't have a lot of damage.
Brain Shock has been such a lifesaver just compared to, what, the Pyramid in the vanilla one.
Oh, absolutely. And it looks like we do have a winner. Auri has finished in first place with an official SRTV time of 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 12 seconds.
That means Auri is going to be going on to face the fearsome Thomas in the next round of brackets. And Leslie, let me take a quick look to see which bracket he jumps to.
I can tell you who Leslie has.
Oh, you.
Leslie has me.
Never mind. I just forgot that the stream is on the same window I went to go look at. I apologize, everyone.
No, but it does look like Leslie is going to at least try to finish this out. And don't get me wrong, Leslie has been playing a good game, just has not been finding the skips, and finding a skip is so important. Just because it lets you bypass so much content in the cave.
Yeah, Ari just made that one conscious choice to move backwards and try that skip out, and it turned out to be a really big skip.
And if Leslie finds that skip and Ori doesn't, it could very well be a different race just because of the lack of other skips in the seed. Because let's face it, if you did not find the skip, this is a brutal seed.
Yeah, I mean, looking at Leslie, who's finally skipping around a little bit, and it's been pretty much vanilla, or not vanilla, but linear at this point.
So we'll see if Ori may want to have some words with us, possibly.
Okay, we got his audio going. It looks like it's a little soft here, so I do apologize for that.
And Ori showing why he was last year's champion. I want to say, not a mistake in his arsenal from this race. 'Cause I can't think of a single thing that I would disagree with out of any of his gameplay.
The only thing I think is he didn't talk to face, which Leslie had the opportunity to do, but that's more of a joke on one of his old notes where it literally says talk to face.
But in all seriousness, Ori played a near flawless game.
Yeah, it was very, very ideal.
Still trying to see if we can get him in here. Leslie making good progress, though. And one thing I've noticed with Leslie going through these floors. Have you seen
Showtime,
any auto?
folks.
It is showtime. Have you seen any auto? I don't think I've seen any auto Star Masters or Franklin badges.
Not that I've noticed yet. It seems to be very sparse. Leslie may come across it, though. Still plenty of opportunity. So remember, this is a fantastic time if you need to take a restroom break or go grab a snack. This is a fantastic time. Otherwise, sit back, relax, and enjoy the Runaway 5. Now, one of the things I would be interested in is what happens if you are stepped into the show at one point and it was suddenly the Venus show. And you got to see Mr. Fork going up and trying to get all friendly with Venus and deal with that show. It'd be an interesting flip of the coin over here. Leslie talking to the back of the boss. We find out that Leslie is on floor 7. So we know what's in store for Leslie going forward. We've got Thunder and Storm and Gygus. And since it's the Kraken right here, the Kraken is fairly easy to deal with the amount of leveling Leslie is deal with. It's just freeze and throw as much damage as you can.
That's kind of what you have to do in the vanilla game too, just because of Kraken's extremely high DPS. But it does look like Leslie did find a skip from 5 to 7. Which is not the skip he was looking for.
Roaches throwing the red swirl over there. Kind of hard to see on that floor. So we'll see if Leslie takes the time to explore the present boxes. The pressure is off of Leslie at this point, due to already having finished the race, so Leslie can take his time in trying to find enough items to equip himself for Gygus and have a pretty easy run through right here. The HP values being what they are makes it fairly easy, and it seems like the HP in both of the phases were very reasonable.
And we did hear back from Ori will not be interviewing.
Okay. Now this department store here is one of the nice things. I like to see these department stores very early on because it has a high potential of giving you items you can use to skip as you go forward. Picking up some hamburgers, protein drinks, items like that.
Well, just the sheer number of vendors in the department store. There are 6 vendors there. Oh. Ori, you've got class.
Normally I'd cut the view there, but I think we could spend the 2 seconds for one run for Clue over there.
Oh, it's clearly Clue world record attempt. I think that's exactly what Ori's doing.
I think every attempt is world record attempt. Alright, as entertaining as this is the ancient cave around here, so I am going to cut the feed here for Ari. and let Leslie finish the seed out here. So, funny thing is, even though that I've cut the feed to the stream, I still have to have Ari's screen up, so I am still forced to watch Clue World Record attempts next to Leslie's looking at a potential skip over there.
And shout outs to Leslie for seeing this all the way through.
I'm always a proponent of finishing the runs and or races that you enter, because you never know what's going to be thrown at you, especially in Earthbound Villa. You don't know what's going to be thrown at you, let alone randomizer that throws it in your face. It's always good practice to adapt to the situations you're in and just to finish it out, go back and learn what you can potentially do better next time. And maybe not, because what you did might have been good for that seed. It's just good to go back and look.
Even Earthbound Vanilla, no matter how many times you run it, it will throw you in situations that you've never been in before. And the more situations that you're exposed to, the more you'll know what to do when strange things come up. But even then, even the best runners run into situations that they've never been in before. And especially in race type situations, just the ability to think on your feet is so important.
One of my favorite things is this makes you think about the enemies that are there and recognize the different approaches that you can make. Whether it's throwing out paralysis, throwing out hypnosis, freezing them, finding out what their weakness is, instead of throwing a big bottle rocket at it, or a multi-bottle rocket at it.
The weaknesses of enemies in the randomizer are roughly equivalent to what they are in vanilla. There is some variation, but not a ton. So having all that knowledge is important. All the vanilla knowledge is important as well for randomizer. But the most important takeaway that you can have from the vanilla game is just being familiar with every map and knowing how many exits are on each map and where they are, so that if you run into a dead-end map, you can very quickly recognize it.
So fortunately for Leslie, Leslie came upon the boss room here for floor 7. We'll be moving on to floor 8 here. I don't think we've seen the boss to floor 7 yet, have we?
I don't believe so. I know Ori blew by it when finding hints.
It's like a do not enter sign for Ori. Oh, okay, turn around. Leslie doing the good thing of making sure everything's equipped that needs to be for the best chances, because bosses can be quite annoying, especially if it becomes Ness's nightmare, and it's not. So this looks
Master
like
Barf. Master Barf is best case scenario for Leslie.
A good potential of getting Star Storm here.
This is guaranteed Starstorm.
Yeah, what am I thinking? This isn't Belch. This is definitely Master Barf. So,
Master Belch is an event boss. The reason why Master Belch is only included in the as an event boss is because you need the jar of fly honey to kill him in the vanilla game. And with this many confused party members, Leslie's in a bit of a tight spot here. And just going to take a reset. Have we seen the other side of the Topala Theater yet? I don't think we have. This could potentially be a skip to... this could potentially be a skip to Floor 9 also.
It's funny. A lot of this is a personal experience. A lot of the seeds that I play tend to have that particular room leading to floor 9 with the easy buy the ticket and enter into the Floor-Side Theater.
It's more likely that this skip goes backwards, but it is, I believe, possible for this to go to 9 because Leslie was on 7. And that's very clearly backwards. And that's one of the risks you do run taking skips late. As it's more likely for your skip to go backwards than forwards. On the other hand, when Leslie does get to Gygus, he should have a pretty easy time. Because all the good defensive equipment that you want for Gygus is on floor 9 to begin with.
Well, there's that skip again.
The skip that led backwards, so... I think I know what Les was trying to do. I think Les was trying to find a way to skip this boss fight. But I'm thinking it's not there. Just because that boss is no fun. which I don't think searching for another skip is wrong, but it's just unfortunate that it's not there.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just not there.
What Rando gives, Rando doesn't give at times.
And that is something that Leslie is well aware of. He plays a lot of different randomizers. Earthbound is not his only gig. Leslie plays a wide variety of them. So definitely some shout outs to Leslie for continuing to branch out to different randomizers. And I want you to give Ori as well follows, but especially Leslie all the follows for sticking this one out and just being willing to branch out and enter a tournament for a randomizer that he just learned. Because that in its own right takes a lot of guts.
No better way than throwing yourself into the fire itself.
No kidding. And this can happen to anyone. Like if you just don't find that skip.
That or you get a terrible boss just stuck in front of you, and that's his nightmare in particular.
That happened in
Carbon dot.
That actually happened in one of the qualifiers where there was a Ness's nightmare on floor 4. And the only way past the Ness's nightmare was to do a skip from you would get I think there was a pencil eraser on floor 3 that you had to take back
that week.
You may have been right, but there was a really nasty Ness's nightmare fight where the only way around it was to find a pencil eraser and then go through the Lost Underworld room, which led to a skip past Ness's nightmare. And much of the field ended up having to level up to be able to, and level up for a long time at that to be able to get past Ness's nightmare. And it can do crazy things like that.
I will say, I do cringe every time I see the Lost Underworld appear in the map rotation, and it's a choice of whether or not you want to take that long trudge across that room.
And I can almost guarantee you that if Les saw that room, he would have taken it. And another reset. Some of the bosses towards the end have rolled really high on stats. You see how much punishment that Kraken was taking?
Yeah, no breaks for Leslie, and they're out here. It's a punishing seat if you're walking through floor by floor here at this point.
And Leslie, I don't think has a ton of ammo, if any, to be able to deal with the Kraken. It's just all freezes. So at that point, your only real way past Kraken is going to be to just hope for getting empty turns with freezes.
Yeah, the big bottle rocket vendor we saw, that was what, on floor 8? Oh no, that was floor 9 with Foresight, right?
It was, yeah. So all the ammo vendors are either too early. They're either too early or they're just past this. So unfortunately, Les is just gonna have to bang his head against some of these fights. This is just too bad.
Ooh, the hypnosis getting off. That's always nice.
I thought this got accepted, the limit break.
No, Ari was referring to the clue speedrun that he was doing.
Oh, he might be referring to like vanilla with like just the vanilla game with all the speed hacks. I think like Runbound it was called.
No, I'm pretty sure it was the clue stream that I cut on him.
No, but it does look like Leslie is through and will be on to floor 8.
Will he go back and use that save point
So
that he knows
especially
is right
once you get to
behind him?
floors 8 and 9, you're going to start looking for things such as good pendants, heavy bazooka. But heavy bazooka, from my experience, only shows up on floor 9.
Just found out I've been talking in isolation from you. My mic on Discord's been muted. Yet again, I apologize.
And Thunder and Storm is going to be our 8th boss, which, with the amount of freezes, and hopefully some bottle rockets as well, Leslie should be able to very easily dispatch.
Yeah, at this point, as long as Leslie does the searching for items, Leslie should be able to pretty much start clearing these later 2 floors fairly easily.
But the question is, how quickly will he get through that diabolical and just giant floor 9? Because that floor 9 was massive.
Well, at this point, he can take as long as he wants to. His pressure is off. He's just focusing on finishing the seed at his own pace now.
And this is just good practice, because if you, and this is just part of the luck in randomizer, really, is especially this randomizer. There's an incredible amount of luck where if you find a big skip and your opponent doesn't find it, it can lead to some very, very lopsided matches.
Yeah, this is one that kind of highly separates itself for something from like Link to the Past, where you have to make decisions on how fast you bail out if you pick up chests and you get certain items. Here, it's most of the time it's a matter of, do I go left or do I go right, and do I turn around at any point?
And Leslie is more than familiar with these types of decisions because of the Zelda 1 randomizer.
Oh, I do not envy any Zelda 1 randomizer, let alone the fully shuffled randomizer in that game.
Well, this might surprise you then. Zelda 1 was my first randomizer.
I do not envy you either.
And Leslie's familiar with Zelda 1. Zelda 1, Link to the Past, has dabbled in some other ones, but mostly does mostly Leslie does Zelda 1, Link to the Past, and the combo.
There is a notable lack of Metal Gear randomizer in there, though. Little self-promotion there.
But we are seeing Starman base enemies now.
Still not a friendly combination at any point.
Oh no, not at all. A lot of these Starman base enemies you just want to get out of as quickly as possible. Because these enemies can diamondize you. The atomic power robots they can full heal. I want to say 3 out of 4 turns. They're very unpleasant enemies to deal with, and oftentimes just running from them is the best way to deal with them.
Unfortunately, I think this is where Leslie's lack of vanilla knowledge is coming to hurt him in dealing with this particular enemy set right here. He's trying to defeat them, and that's a rough combo right here.
Oh, absolutely. Whenever I see just the power robot at all, whether it be the power robot or the nuclear reactor robot, your best strategy is to just try to get out of that encounter as quickly as possible. And oftentimes the way to get out of that encounter as quickly as possible is just by running away. Because they are a nice experience, yes, but it's just not worth the time or the hassle. Especially if you don't know where a heal is, it can also be a huge resource drain.
Especially with the Mook paired up in there, that's just a super deadly combo, because you have Psy attacks flying at you left and right. Put the Mook to a sleep and try to get out of there as fast as possible.
And that's not even the worst combination out of the Starman base enemies. There is no encounter that will have me mashing run faster than double Starman Super Atomic Power Robot out of that dungeon.
Yeah, this is one particular area that you really do start to hurt without the vanilla speed gains and the Rabbit's Foot combo.
I'm not quite sure where Leslie is going. Maybe it's that lack of vanilla knowledge. Because this is actually the Sanctuary Room, and Leslie isn't recognizing it.
Oh, I apologize. That wouldn't be Rabbit's Foot at this point. That would be Crystal Charm. My mistake.
Yes, the Crystal Charm is the one that resists diamondization.
Yeah, at that point you have it on Paula for the speed boost from the Scrub Pyramid, because after that then is the Rabbit's Foot going into Lost Underworld.
Correct. So Leslie making pretty quick work of floor 8.
Yeah, it does seem like floor 8 was pretty compact here, just to expand floor 9 all that much more.
So this Thunder and Storm should be pretty simple. And we'll be moving on to the giant mess that is floor 9.
I wonder if Leslie will end up in Onett or be lucky enough to bypass the O-Net fun.
It'd sure be nice.
Were there any pendants in the O-Net area, those side rooms, that led to any potential rewards? I don't quite remember.
I don't believe so.
We've made it. Floor 9. Here we go. So at this point, we're going to be seeing some of the similar item cleanup, equip, and all that. We're going to hope that Leslie is able to pick up just as many of the good pendants that Ari did to set Leslie up for a good match against Gygus.
Just about all of them were on floor 9. It really just depends on how much of floor 9 that Leslie sees.
Now that I think about it, the setup here is also pretty linear from going to Ant Cave, not Ant Cave, gigantic step forward. Just had that giant O-Net distraction in there.
That's why it's never any fun to see those areas late.
Fortunately, it wasn't Tucson. Or a Tucson O-Net combo on floor 9.
I think that was in one of the quals.
You're welcome.
That's not a compliment, by the way. Just so you're aware.
I'm aware. I just type the command that generates the seed every week for the weeklies.
Oh, join the club. Leslie and myself, we are also people that are not allowed to roll seeds.
I blame the Apple of Enlightenment on that one. Who happens to be hosted on my server. Alright, foresight here, that's a good sign for Leslie moving forward. Going straight to the arms dealer and should be finding the big bottle rockets with plenty of money.
Seeing just a little bit of inventory cleanup here.
be surprisingly annoying if you don't keep up with the added function of the R drop, dropping items that you don't want right away, holding on to them, trying to sell them later on. Oh, I did not notice the first time around that this guy also had super bombs. This is a pretty good vendor here.
I'm a little surprised that Ori didn't check that vendor.
Well, this is where Ori got his big bottle rockets. I don't remember if he picked up super bombs though.
Super bombs are just always useful though. That's one of those things that I'm never unhappy to find.
Oh, there we go. I already didn't have, wasn't able to sell it to that guy, and he was already in good shape. So, we'll see if going. I don't remember which door it was that led to Gygas in this whole mess, because floor 9 was huge. Riker, do you remember which route led to Gygas?
I do not.
Ooh, Goddess Ribbon. That's always
Goddess
nice
Ribbon that's best in slot for Paula. Something like defense plus 120, which in the vanilla game is one of the 1 in 128 drops.
As a personal preference, I'll say this is one of the nice things about the randomizer as well, is getting to experience different weapons that you normally don't get to play with, and just being able to bash at times. It's satisfying.
It is.
Star Pendant. So Leslie is already in good shape, having 2 Earth Pendants I saw, and a Sea Pendant and a Star Pendant. Leslie's going to be ready to rock and roll once encountering Gygas or Gigagas.
Just all the colorful names we have for the end boss.
Take down Gigu. Here we go, taking the opportunity to run away. Use that green swirl to your advantage.
You don't want to mess with any of the enemies on that floor. You just don't.
Oh no, we're back to Honette. I think that's one of the frustrating things when you start exploring a large floor 9 and you start seeing how many skips you encounter that would have led to there. Just right here in Onett, you've got the Seaside Shack door.
Usually I'm nowhere close to rich enough by the time that would be relevant. Because having to pony up 7,500 big ones to be able to go through that door at a relevant time is pretty rare.
And having found a place to sell your items to even try to get close. Well, there's another sea pendant there.
Just in increasingly good shape for the end of the game. It's just a matter of finding him at this point.
Oh, I didn't even notice this free heal the first time around. This is actually a really friendly floor 9.
Yeah, that's a heal that I don't think Ori ever saw. So that's 3 good pendants in Leslie's inventory.
Plus lots of earth pendants, too.
The super bombs as well.
Unfortunately, I personally have a bad memory of the Onet floor, on which of these side buildings you're able to enter, which ones you're not. Like, there's the one over here that has a Beatles reference that's very memorable, but some of the side ones,
oh yeah,
you're just kind of knock, knock, knock. Am I going in or am I not?
That sign's great.
Yeah, let's play Notre Dame. Making this great sacrifice for a bag of Dragonite. That poor bottle of water. Now, is that the second or third entrance into the LOM in this particular area right here?
I want to say it's the second. When you get a lot of large maps on the same floor, that will happen.
I can only imagine a 4-side feeding into an Onet, feeding into a 3, feeding into a twosome, into a Dalam. That's a nightmare.
Oh, no kidding. It's awful. I've seen giant floor 9s before.
That's one of the times that make me miss the days of no loops.
I want to say the days of no loops are arguably worse. Arguably.
.9% of the time, absolutely.
Because then then the big maps like Onet and Tucson are just black holes to nowhere. Just no fun at all. These rooms are always really nice to see on floor 9. Just anything that has a lot of treasure. And the floor 9 in general on this seed has actually been pretty generous.
Lots of top level items, top level pendants, second level pendants. Really buff HP characters.
And this is a shop we haven't seen yet either, I don't think.
I think Ori stopped in here for a quick second, but I'm probably highly misremembering at this point.
And this is that encounter I was talking about. This particular encounter is one you never, ever want to fight. Because the Atomic Power Robot can fully heal the Starman Super. The two Starman Super can revive each other. And the Starman Super, thankfully in Randomizer, have their psychic power shields often removed. But there's just no good way of dealing with this other than running.
Well, it looks like this time around they are appropriately named for you. The horrible Starmen.
Did you see those levels on Leslie's party?
They are sweet. I am enjoying the high levels. They are great.
I think I saw level 40?
I think so.
Usually you see runners finish in around the low to mid 30s.
That is something that comes with experience of the vanilla game, I would say. That or a lot more practice the randomizer, just knowing how far you can actually push the characters and get away with the rolling HP meter. I think if Leslie, not to throw suggestions out there, but I think if he took like 1 or 2 runs of the vanilla game, in a casual speed run, I think his level would jump so much higher too, just from that experience as well.
I don't disagree. And one of the big things that that is so important in this particular game is having the high menu speed to abuse the rolling hit point meter with. Because the faster you can menu, the more that you can get away with thanks to the rolling hit point meter.
Or get over cocky and die like myself.
And Leslie's starting to pass some rooms already seen. Might be getting turned around a little bit, which it's very easy for that to happen on floors like this.
Yeah, he spent a lot of time going in some circles and all that, so he's going to find himself there. There we go, at the beginning of the floor again, and realizing that he's looped back there. But that's okay. He'll have fresh in his mind everything that doesn't go where he needs to go at this point. Finding our way yet again back into the llama here, taking some circles. Yeah, we definitely got a good circle of Foresight, Dalam, and Onet going on. I'm getting lost myself, to be honest. I'm losing track of what doors Leslie's gone through and what he hasn't. I think this looks familiar to us, the viewers. We should be seeing it pretty close here, I think. Ah, there it is. Yeah, I guess here. Looks like Leslie's doing some item redistribution here, and we're gonna see him dive right into it. HP is high. We've got some high PP values. Leslie looks pretty set to go. Squashing a caterpillar along the way. 40, 42. Those are the two level values that I caught. Alright, so we'll have phase coming up here. Let's see if Leslie is going to be able to easily dispatch of Pokey. KSI honk! Oh, arc doesn't work. Shield gets off, and the paralysis doesn't look like it landed. Well, looks like Ness is going to be running out of HP here, which is unfortunate, but since Ness is not the prayer character, that's okay. I'm just going to be looking to deal damage pretty fast here and trying to get out of this phase. Alright, the shield is gone, and ooh, unfortunately, mortal damage on death there. The shield is back up. Count's good on that. Looks like Instant Text is going to save Jeff there, that's good. I don't think Paul is going to make it through to the next phase. Managed to get the magnet off, though. So we're down to Jeff and Pooh. We know that Jeff has to stay alive. And we gotta deal a bunch of damage. Having Starstorm's pretty nice. Just chuck bombs, chuck rock. Well, not rockets, but just chuck bombs. Reviving some extra characters at this point is not a terrible idea to just boost the damage dealers, because Leslie does not know how much HP Phase 2 has. Auto fight. That was interesting. Fortunately, there was a smash on that, which did not remove the brain shock status. I think Leslie was trying to get off some last-minute emergency heals. Freeze Omega. Don't get to see that often. It's awesome to see that. The guy gets outsped rocking there. Leslie's not choosing to shoot with Jeff, but sometimes if you're not aware of it, shooting with Jeff actually does not remove the confused status, because you're not actually bashing the enemy. You're shooting from a distance, so I guess it's not like smacking them on the head to clear up their confusion. There we go, phase 2 is down, which means we gotta get through the 9 prayers. So now that the first one's down, if you really wanted to, you can use Brain Shock again to try and avoid as many lightnings as possible between the Sea Pendant and the Star Pendants. The freezing move is not going to be of any effect of significant damage. Fortunately, Jeff is almost at 400 HP. Even thus, the magic turret try to boost the psychic points there a little, just to have the healing, I think. Fortunately, the thunder did not strike Jeff. Unfortunately, Ness is out again. But that's okay, we're into our last two prayers here. And let's get Speed Racing TV set here to see. And that will be time. With an official Speed Racing TV time of 2 hours, 11 minutes, and 33 seconds. That is great determination here on Leslie's part. I'm extremely happy that he had the dedication to go through and complete the seed, even though Ari finished a long time ago. It's just speaks to the volume of character of sticking it out, getting the practice in, and being able to just go right through. And it looks like Leslie wants to say a few things here, so we'll have a brief interview here.
Well, that didn't go according to plan. Like, what happened there is my D-pad shit the bed. Hear all about it in the interview on Earthbound Super Series.
Hey, Leslie, can you hear me? Alright, we got Leslie here joining me in the commentary booth. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you, thank you. That was a seed where I knew I was in trouble when I didn't find a warp through the first floors. because I feel like I definitely missed a warp somewhere in there. I'm not sure where. But then I ran into a much more significant problem that could affect me long term. My controller's D pad stopped registering on the up input. So I had to literally reconfigure at least the D pad part of my control scheme on the fly. So that caused some headaches that I did not need. So now I'm going to have to look at that before I schedule my next race against Ryko.
Yeah, that is highly unfortunate there for you. I noticed at the point where you got some frustrations going on when that happened. Now, there is definitely a large gap between you and Ari. Ari found a really large skip that you bypassed, but it wasn't something that was all that intuitive. You came across early on. We have to say it's floor 3, the pizza monkey. But you had to go into the next floor a little bit to grab the pizza, turn around, and go back to take the pizza monkey all the ways to floor 8.
Well, son of a monkey. No pun intended.
And unfortunately for you, the rest of the route, you're kind of doing a floor by floor play until you found the skip from 5 to 7. So that put it a little bit at odds there, just for not finding very many skips until both players got to floor 9, was exploring around the Onet Dalam loop a little bit, and then you're seeing all these places that, hey, this could have taken me to floor 9.
Yeah, I saw that and just shook my head, and then I basically full cleared 9 until I realized, wait, I hadn't gone to Jackie's Cafe in Forsyth, which, for translation notes, in Japan, that version of the game, that's a bar.
Yes, it is. They don't hide it over here. Over in the US, they're drinking coffee. Yes, it is.
Yep, drinking coffee and wondering why there's some sounds like taking out to the ball game outside. I don't know.
So, other than now knowing about the skip and the D-pad issues, do you think you would have changed your gameplay at all this time around, or were you pretty happy with what you knew and what you found?
Gameplay wise, I wish I'd been able to find the seed had been a bit more intuitive on the skip front, because going back for that skip, oh my lord, that's just straight dumb right there. I got to admit, Rando, you pulled a dumb on me and made me look foolish. But still, the only other thing I wish I could have found is maybe explore more of Dalam a bit. Because as soon as I found the door that was to the end of the floor, I took off for it. Because boss wise, this seed was fairly tame on the boss front. Maybe Car Painter was the only real threat, but that's one you big bottle rocket anyway in that situation.
Yeah, it looks like approaching the Kraken there, you had to take a few attempts on the lead up to it, just some unfortunate enemy encounters there.
Yeah, I wound up finding Kraken on the back door and just literally broke its back. No pun intended.
All right, we're gonna start wrapping it up here, but do you have any final words before we say goodnight?
When I say is GG Aurilliux, I definitely have a lot to catch up to in that regard, because Aurilliux is the reigning defending champion for a reason, and I'll be honest, that is something that I would never have expected in 1,000 years, that a skip on the previous floor would have jumped you all the way up to floor 8, although I am curious. Were there any Franklin badges or a set or an auto Star Master in this? Because the only Star Master I got was the one from beating Master Barf.
Not that we saw on either player. If Chaz releases the information for this particular seed later, we can find out that information. But at this moment, none of those was discovered in this seed.
Yeah, Unfortunately, the old money laundering didn't really do much, although the magic pudding did help later on down the road, which is why I picked a couple of those up because you never know. You could get into a seed where you're really starved for psychic points, and, well, at least I was ready for it because pretty much everybody was starved on that front outside of Pooh, and the irony is he goes down before I can get Starstorm off. Oh well, game knows.
All right, well, at this point, we're going to sign off here on the Earthbound Super Series Ancient Cave Edition. This is going to conclude the first round of competition. Those that you saw lose their first matches in this round are not necessarily out of the tournament. They do have a second chance to make redemption and fight their way all the ways back up to the grand finale and potentially face off against the winner of the first round brackets. They will have to defeat the winner in 2 matches there to grab the title, but it is not an accomplishable, impossible task. Stay tuned. The runners will be scheduling their second matches now as we move forward, and we look forward to seeing the next round begin. With that, have a great night, and we will see you next time.
Yep. Take care, guys. See you next time. GG's.